Hey guys. Come with me, I have a beautiful story of those cliché loves, you know? That leave our hearts warm. Do you want to know how this all happened? So stay with me and discover all the details of this journey. If you like our content, leave a like. Let's go. Louise was a devoted mother, raising her 5-year-old daughter, Ivy, alone. Life had been very hard for her. After her husband's unexpected death, everything became even more complicated. Louise had to work hard to earn money and at the same time be both mother and father to Ivy. She had just been hired by the city's best-known company, working in a tall, impressive building owned by a famous technology company. The owner of the company was John Cooper, a very famous name in the business world. His job was to be a kitchen maid, which meant making coffee and taking care of the office kitchen. She worked for Mrs. Cristine, a very demanding and cold boss, who always found mistakes in Louise's work. Louise tried hard, but her boss was never satisfied. One day, her daughter Ivy's nanny couldn't go to work, and Louise had no choice but to take little Ivy to spend the day with her at work. Louise knew that Mistress Cristine wouldn't like seeing Ivy in the office, but she had no other choice. When the boss saw Ivy, she made an irritated face and said, "You can't bring your daughter to the office. This isn't a daycare." Louise replied, "Madam, I need to work, and I can't leave my daughter at home alone. Please, let Ivy stay quiet by my side just for today. She won't disturb my work or bother anyone. Just for today, please," asked Louise. Mrs. Cristine, annoyed, replied, "Okay, but only today. And keep that child quiet by her side. If she interferes with someone's work, you'll be fired, understand? Today we need total dedication more than ever, because Mr. John Cooper, owner of the company, will spend a few days here to check our work." Louise thanked her and tried to keep Ivy busy with crayons, her cell phone and anything that would amuse her. But we know that a child full of energy doesn't stay still for long, right? First, Ivy moved a little away from Louise and realized that her mother didn't notice. First, Ivy moved away just a little. Then a little more. Until she was free, exploring the entire company. For Ivy, it was an incredible place. She opened doors and saw many people busy, without noticing that she was there. A child's curiosity is enormous. Ivy walked around the entire floor, enchanted by everything she discovered. Until Ivy opened the door to a room and found a man who was surprised to see a child there. He asked, "Who are you, little one?" "Hi, I'm Ivy," she replied, walking in and sitting down. After settling in, she said, "Wow, your room is the most beautiful I've seen so far. Do you like her?" The man smiled and replied, "Ivy, I really like it and I'm happy that you think it's beautiful. You go to school?" Yes, Ivy replied, nodding. "But today I didn't go to school because, why?" "Oh, you know. My nanny didn't come, and my mother had to bring me to her work." "Do you like zoos?" "Yes, Ivy, I really like it, but I haven't been to one for many years," the man replied. "Oh, what a shame. I love going to the zoo. Shall we go together one day?" asked Ivy, full of enthusiasm. "I would be very happy to go to the zoo with you, Ivy," replied to the man, smiling gently. At that moment, they heard knocking on the door. "You may come in," said the man. The door opened, revealing Lady Cristine, who entered accompanied by Louise. With a stern expression, she said, "Look where your daughter ended up. Inemer. John Cooper's room. I told you to keep an eye on her, but you didn't listen to me. For this, you are fired," declared Mistress Cristine. Louise, already worried about Ivy's disappearance, began to cry even more. When John Cooper saw how Mistress Cristine treated Louise, he intervened, "Madam, as the owner of this company, I do not approve of her action. How can you act like that to a mother who is crying, worried because she didn't know where her son was?" said John Cooper, indignantly. Plus, John continued, "I had a wonderful, pure moment with little Ivy, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Our chat was great, wasn't it, Ivy? Yes. But we're going to the zoo, aren't we? Ivy asked, smiling at John. Come on, Ivy. This weekend, I'll stop by your house so we can go, okay? John said. Embarrassed after being scolded by the company owner, Madame Cristine left silently. Louise and Ivy left soon after. When the workday was over, Louise breathed a sigh of relief and took Ivy home. On Saturday, Louise always spent the whole day with Ivy, playing and talking a lot. Before lunch, the phone rang. To her surprise, it was Mr. John Cooper. He was calling to confirm that afternoon, they would go to the zoo, as he had promised little Ivy. When Ivy heard the news, she started jumping up and down with joy, looking forward to the ride. She spent the whole day asking her mother if it was time to go, until John arrived. The afternoon was perfect, and Louise seemed to be looking after two children, one big and one small. John and Ivy had fun with the animals, ate popcorn, ate ice cream and played with balloons. When they got back, Ivy was so tired that she fell asleep in the back seat of the car. When they got home, John helped carry Ivy to her room and put her to bed. Louise was touched by the affection he showed for her daughter. Would you like a coffee, Mr. John Cooper? Louise asked. Yes, but you can just call me John, he replied. Do you have children, John? It seems like you're great with kids, Louise commented. Look, Louise, to grow and maintain my companies, I had to leave some things aside. I really like children, but I haven't had time to have my own yet, he explained. But you are still young, you can have many children, exclaimed Louise. First, I need to find time to get a wife, said John, laughing. Surprised, Louise replied without thinking, I can't believe that such a charming man would have difficulty finding a wife. Upon realizing what she had said, she turned red and embarrassed. John noticed and let out a laugh. I could ask the same. I saw in your data that you have been a widow for a few years. Why didn't you get married again when you're so pretty? John asked. They both laughed at his questions. John, I have a daughter to raise with lots of love and care. I can't let just anyone into our lives, said Louise. You're right, Louise, he replied, agreeing. Since then, every Saturday has become a day of fun for the three of them. Louise stopped seeing John as the powerful owner of the big tech company. And John never treated her as a simple employee, but as a charming and interesting woman, mother of a happy and talkative girl. John spent the whole week waiting for Saturday to have fun with Louise and Ivy. Over time, he also began to look forward to the time when Ivy would go to sleep, and he could sit and talk to Louise. They spent hours in the room, exchanging stories and secrets, and it was becoming more and more special for both. John was super excited to spend some quality time with Louise, Ivy's mom. One night, after putting Ivy to bed, Louise settled in for a cozy night. John noticed how beautiful she looked. Wow, Louise, you look amazing, he said with a smile. Did you dress up just for me? Louise blushed and laughed. Oh no, John. It's just a warm night and I wanted to stay comfortable, that's all. John sat down next to her and said, You know, Louise, I really care about Ivy. She is an amazing kid and I feel so lucky to be around her. But what you don't know is that I fell in love with you, and I love these moments we spend together, confessed John. Louise replied, But I'm just your company's kitchen maid. You must know many more interesting women than me. John smiled and said, First, you are a very beautiful woman. Why can't you be a scullery maid and interesting at the same time? You're educated, you raise your daughter alone, without anyone's help, and you're a very attractive woman who drives me crazy, Louise. Don't you feel anything for me? Don't I awaken desire in you? No, John. It's the opposite. But I'm your employee, and it could cause problems if... Before she could finish, he kissed her out of surprise, and she couldn't resist. In fact, she didn't want to resist. The night seemed short for so much passion between the two. It had been many years since Louise had shared her bed with a man, and that night she remembered what it was like to be loved and desired. John, in turn, had several love affairs, but they were all superficial and fleeting. The women he knew were more interested in his position as a big businessman than in truly loving him. On Sunday morning, during breakfast, Ivy walked into the kitchen and saw John standing next to Louise. She exclaimed, "Yay! Are you still here? Are you going to stay with us forever, John?" John smiled, leaned in and replied, "We're not staying here, Ivy. I have a better idea. I'm going to ask your mother to marry me, buy us a nice house and we'll live there together. What do you think?" Ivy, looking serious, asked, "Can I have a dog there, John?" Louise and John laughed at Ivy's concern amid all the news. Sometime later, they got married in a beautiful ceremony, with Ivy happily running around everywhere. After the party, when they entered the new house, a beautiful puppy was waiting for Ivy. She called him Max, and the two ran happily through the large garden of the beautiful mansion. Life at the company changed a lot after Louise married John. On a special day, John organized a general meeting and called Louise to the center of the room. With a smile on his face, he announced, "I would like to introduce everyone to my wife, Louise." There was a moment of silence, followed by applause and murmurs of surprise and joy. Most of the staff were happy for Louise, recognizing how much she deserved it. However, Louise's former boss, Mistress Cristine, was flabbergasted. She couldn't believe that the kitchen maid she so underestimated was now the company owner's wife. John, noticing Cristine's reaction, made a point of adding, "Not only is Louise my wife, but she will also be the new director of special projects. I know she will bring a unique and careful look to everything she does." Louise's transition from kitchen maid to director was surprising to many, but she dedicated herself with the same passion and care as she did when raising Ivy. The employees quickly realized that she not only deserved the position but was also extremely good at it. Her kind and attentive manner earned everyone's respect. Ivy loved visiting the company and seeing her mother in her new role, and Max the puppy became the unofficial mascot, delighting everyone when he made an appearance. Louise and John's life was full of love and success, both at home and at work. And Mrs. Cristine? Well, she learned a valuable lesson about judging people by their appearance and became a humbler and more respectful person. And so, the family continued to grow in love and achievements, living happily ever after. Did you like the story of Louise, John and Ivy? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting and inspiring stories. If you want to see more stories like this, also watch the story of the boss and the nanny that will appear on the final screen. Keep following us so you don't miss any chapters of this new adventure. Thanks for watching.